Starting up a new game can be daunting at the best of times, and with Monster Hunter World, one of the first decisions that you are faced with is to decide which of the 14 weapons you want to take out on a hunt. This can be very overwhelming and off-putting for new players, so I'm going to go over a handful of weapons which are excellent choices for newcomers to the game and franchise. I'm Light It Up Dan. The sort of content I love to produce aims to reduce the overwhelm and unknown of Monster Hunter. The weapons we're about to look at will be a fantastic starting point, but for a more comprehensive breakdown for each of the 14 weapons, check out this guide. I'll leave it in the description for you. Thank you for turning up and getting us to around 80% of unsubscribed viewers on the channel, with the majority of you returning. If you enjoy the videos, do subscribe. Let's try and get that down to 50%, and with that said, let's get to it. Let's start with the classic Sword and Shield, a staple in action RPGs and normally representative of quite an accessible weapon for all. Jumping right in, your basic attack allows you to chain together 3 inputs for your basic combo string. By repeatedly pressing Y, you'll be able to do a very simple, very straightforward combo chain, after which there is a short cooldown before you can repeat it again. If, however, you are pointing your left stick slightly to the side, you will be able to fluidly chain combos together without the cooldown. Simple inputs, and just doing this alone will honestly make you pretty effective, so we can only build upwards from here. You can do a very quick and very strong combo with the B button, allowing you to string together 3 powerful attacks in quick succession. I find myself using this a lot as a hit and run style combo, in between other more powerful attacks we're about to take a look at. If you're tilting left stick when you attempt to do this, you'll instead do a shield bash combo, a quick, powerful, high stun combo but with very short range. After the majority of attacks, or after rolling, or whilst even blocking, you're able to do a backstep. From here, you can hold it to do a charged slash, launching you into the air, which you can follow up with a jumping slash or a very powerful falling bash. This can dish out a lot of damage and is really cool. Pre-Iceborne, this was the Sword and Shield's method of dishing out a ton of damage. However, we're not pre-Iceborne, are we? Now, whilst you're charging in the backstep, you can press Y to do a leaping slash. This will initiate the perfect rush combo. This is effectively 3 inputs that you can perfectly time each time your character is glowing ready pink to do a fantastically powerful, incredibly sick looking combo. Nailing the correct timing on all 3 of these inputs will see you do a ton of damage. Whilst the block with the Sword and Shield is nothing to write home about, it does serve as a panic button when you've got no other options. Whilst it does normally require 2 clutch claw attacks to tenderize a part, after rolling you can hit left trigger to do a claw Yuken, allowing you to instantly tenderize without a shaver jewel, and it will still pop off slinger ammo. Best of both. You now have the foundation to take the Sword and Shield out and to be incredibly effective, both whilst playing solo or even in a group. It may feel very wishy-washy at first, and it will take some practice to get your perfect rushes off. In time, you'll see how you can get into the backstep off near enough anything the Sword and Shield does, and it'll all come together like a jigsaw puzzle. The way I play it is to get out as many perfect rushes as possible. Don't be fooled into thinking that because it has a low skill floor, that it doesn't have a very high skill ceiling. All of the weapons have a tremendous skill ceiling, and Sword and Shield is no exception. Next up, we're looking at Hammer, another fantastic choice that's super easy to pick up and play with very simple to understand inputs. Jumping right in with your basic combo string, repeatedly pressing the Y button for 3 inputs. Initiate this combo without tilting the left stick, going from overhead smash 1 to 2 to the final powerful upswing. You will notice already, just this single combo here is so powerful and it's so quick. Tilting the left stick will start you off with a side smash instead. Quick, cheap and cheerful, gets you into overhead smash 2 and upswing quicker. I'm not kidding when I say if this is all you do with a hammer, you will be really effective. Low commitment, high damage, high KO, it is just beautiful. The bonk is strong. You can get into a charged state whilst you're using the hammer by holding down right trigger. Once in this state, you can press B to do a power charge. There's near enough no reason why you wouldn't want to be in power charge. All of the movesets are better, etc. Letting go of it immediately does a charged side blow into a charged follow-up, then you start your overhead smash combo. Really powerful and tasty. After 2 charged ticks, you'll go into a brutal upswing, which will follow up with the side smash basic combo string. 3 charged ticks will put you into the charged brutal big bang. You must ensure that you're not tilting your left stick in order to do this, otherwise you'll start the spin to win. This attack is perfect for punishing any openings you can find when you've got like a second or 2. If close enough, it has 3 hits to the attack. After unleashing the charged brutal Big Bang, you can follow it up with left trigger to do a spinning flying smash, a powerful clutch claw combo attack which will place you onto the monster, allowing you to tenderize. You don't have hyper armor, so you can get knocked off, but it's a fantastic way to get everything all done at the same time. There's a weaker follow-up attack you can do after the charged brutal upswing, the 2-tick uppercut move, called the flying smash. A nice extra chunk of damage for the follow-up combo, and once more placing you onto the monster so you can get off your tenderize. There's a sequential combo you can get in which is very high commitment, and as implied, requires each of the previous attacks to connect. This is called the Big Bang attack. It bonks 4 times, and then on the 5th it does the Big Bang finisher. This is your highest damage attack and should be utilized on the monster when it is toppled. If you're not quite in position in time, you may be better off going for one of your other combos. Once more, you now have the foundations to go out there and bonk with a vengeance. There are some other really cool things like a fantastic ledge hop punish you can do, or crazy spinning aerial attacks when you're sliding down a slope, so there is more for you to discover. And once more, whilst the skill floor is low, the skill ceiling is tremendously high. Next up, we've got the Naruto running, Levi spinning dual blades. Very simple to understand inputs that mostly require you to just focus on positioning. Jumping right in with your basic attack string, 3 Y inputs for a flurry of slashes. There's a couple more inputs if you start off with the left stick tilted, either way resulting in a cooldown after the circle slash. There is also a simple B combo string with 2 inputs which allow you to slightly reposition as you're attacking. This is a theme with the dual blades, with Y being your regular slashes and B being a repositioning attack. You can alternate between the Y and the B combo strings to eliminate any of the cooldown. Truth be told, this is giving you the absolute basic framework so that you can build on top of it, as none of this is particularly useful as you're going to be going in and out of demon mode. Pressing right trigger puts you into demon mode and transforms your Y attack into a devastating combo string. 3 inputs for a flurry of attacks at high damage. Your B attack has transformed into a different repositioning attack, the Demon Flurry Rush, a 3 input attack at high damage, allowing you to maneuver yourself into a different space as you're attacking. A fantastic gap closer, allowing you to get over to the monster whilst also dealing damage. At the end of this combo, you can hit left trigger to do a claw attack, attaching your hunter onto the monster's part, allowing you to follow up with a tenderize attack. Like the Sword and Shield's Claw Yuken, this will allow you to do an instant tenderize, despite the weapon normally requiring 2 clutch claw attacks, or a shaver jewel. The spinning rising slash is a different follow-up attack to when you normally clutch claw onto a monster. So this entire combo string is a very powerful attack. Great as an opener, great as a gap closer. It kind of has everything. Pressing Y and B together initiates the Blade Dance, a high commitment, high damage attack, which sees you planting your feet in place and unleashing a massive flurry of blows. This deals a ton of damage and is best used when you've got a proper window to unleash it. Whilst you're in demon mode, you're actually filling up your demon gauge, the bar you can see underneath your sharpness. Once this fills out, you go into archdemon mode, effectively increasing your damage, and transforming / adding a few additional attacks whilst you're in normal mode. Using these attacks will drain your demon gauge, but you're not constantly losing stamina like you are in demon mode. So the idea is to go into demon mode, build up your gauge, enter archdemon mode, switching back into normal form with your boosted attacks, allowing you to replenish your stamina so that you can go back into demon mode. And this is the true dual blades. You have everything you need here to go out there and get used to the weapon. It definitely feels very wishy-washy at first, especially when you don't quite understand the B attacks and how they propel you, and demon mode with your Naruto run and your weird ass dashes. You get used to it quickly though. There is more to explore here, of course, how all the attacks chain into each other. It's a very modular sort of weapon, as most of them are. There's a crazy spinning attack you can do off ledges or wall runs. You're gonna have an absolute blast, I'm sure. Very low skill floor, very high skill ceiling. The last one I want to take a look at here is a fantastic weapon with super easy inputs, and it has the best block in the game as well. The option to guard provides a ton of breathing room, so new players will absolutely gravitate towards this weapon. Jumping right in, your basic combo string is 3 Y inputs, unleashing 3 horizontal perpendicular attacks. Nothing complicated here, very simple to understand. 3 inputs, 3 attacks. After a short cooldown, you can start it again. Pressing B instead does a high thrust, the same as your basic Y combo, except it's pointing upwards and deals a little bit more damage. That, and it tends to nail the head more often. You'll want to use this attack more so than your mid thrust. These attacks are highly modular and you can mix Y and B attacks together in different combinations. You can minimize the cooldown after a 3-hit combo string by hopping using your dodge button. If you don't tilt a direction, you'll just hop backwards slightly. If you you do, you'll go in the direction that you select while still facing forwards. Holding down right trigger allows you to guard with your lance. This and guarding with the gun lance are the strongest blocks in the game. Make sure the block is facing the source of the damage. Whilst guarding, you can get into a counter thrust by pressing right trigger and B. As implied, whilst you're in this stance, if you're hit during it, you will counter attack with a jab, dealing pretty decent damage but also allowing you to continue your uptime during combos, as you can get into a counter thrust in between your regular attacks. From your counter thrust, you can also get into a power guard. Pressing right trigger and A will give you an omnidirectional block and also charge up that thrust attack. Great if you're caught out of position and you can't block directly in front of you, but it will drain your stamina rapidly. Players seem to fall into the trap of thinking you have to initiate a counter thrust or get into a power guard for you to be able to block your attacks. You don't. Just hold right trigger to hold your shield up. You will find that by keeping your attack uptime high, you'll only have time to get into your counter thrusts, which is slightly different from relying on those and your power guards to be your only forms of blocking. You'll understand what I mean when you give it a go a bit. From your guard, you can press Y and B to initiate a dash attack, which will have you joust over without horseback like an absolute madman, constantly dealing damage with your tip of your lance as you're running, which you can end with a powerful finishing twin thrust. The dash is a charge and has charge ticks, so the longer you go, the more damage you'll deal, and the finishing twin thrust will be more powerful at the end. By pressing Y out of your guard, you're able to do a guard dash, where you'll advance over with your shield held up. This will help close the gap whilst also blocking incoming attacks like your regular guard. During this, you can press Y again to do a shield attack, or B to do a leaping thrust, a great gap closing attack. Either from your guard or from your counter thrust, you can get into the counter claw stance. I like to do it out of the counter thrust stance, it's just what I'm used to. If you're attacked during this, you will clutch claw over to the monster's part that hit you, allowing you to do your powerful tenderize attack then and there. You're given hyper armor during this, so you won't be knocked off, but you can still take damage, so you need to use this really carefully. It can and will cart you, but used well, it's super cool. This gives you the foundations of everything you need to know to get out there and start your journey with the lance. Again, there are some bits and pieces that you'll probably pick up as you're playing, your ledge jump attacks to get mounts and stuff like that. The key thing with the lance is, whilst it is the best defensive weapon, it is actually a very highly aggressive weapon. It wants a very high amount of uptime from you for you to consistently, constantly be attacking. And it does allow you to do that if you can get into the rhythm. But first, you'll have to discover the beat. This should give you plenty to sink your teeth into to try out as a newcomer to the game. It is by no means exhaustive, and that doesn't mean that you can't try anything else that you like the look of. For a comprehensive overview of all 14 weapons, ranking them from easy to hard, check out the guide over here. There might be some other weapons that pique your curiosity. As mentioned at the start, you folks have really turned up and got us to around 80% of unsubscribed viewers on the channel, with the majority of you returning. If you enjoy the videos, do subscribe. Let's get that down to 50 as best as we can. For an open and inclusive community to hunt with every single day, come and join the Discord. We have open sessions with people playing together every day, and similarly, I'm live on Twitch every couple of days where I do open lobbies with you folks. Hop in, I would love to get some hunts with you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the new world.